Good morning, my dear brothers and sisters. This pandemic has made us all, in one way or another, experience anxiety and over fatigue. Staying home, working from home while supervising children had burdened so many parents. Loss of jobs, closure of businesses, and many others had put a toll on everyone. And most of all, the loss of loved ones had truly overburdened uh, beyond measure. Probably that would be an understatement. And so our gospel today resonates deep within our hearts. Jesus says to us, "Come to me, all you who labor and are burdened, and I will give you rest." He begins with the words, "Come, come to me." This seems like a simple request, but very often, this is exactly what we do not do. Paradoxically, sometimes it is when we need Him the most that we become so slow to come near Him. Perhaps because of shame of our sinfulness, perhaps because of stressful situations, simply because we do not have time for Jesus at the moment, or perhaps we are avoiding Him because we do not like how His plans are unfolding and we do not want to submit ourselves to Him. And so we come up with lots of excuses, but no good excuses. Jesus does not want us to let any of these things keep us away from Him and from His love. And so He invites us, "Come, come to me." It all begins with coming to Him. And then He says, "Take my yoke." And this part is probably not as appealing as "come to me." After all, our human nature always prefers an easy life, not a yoke. But for our own good, Jesus calls us beyond the narrow perspective of our nature. He tells us that we must take up our share of His saving cross, because that cross leads to the resurrection. His yoke is the suffering He has freely undertaken out of love for us. And if we do not share in His yoke, we cannot also have a share in His resurrection. So, unlike the yoke of sin, which is impossibly burdensome, Jesus assures us, "My yoke is easy and my burden light." And then finally, Jesus tells us, "Learn from me." We are learners, we are students, and Jesus is our master and our teacher. There are plenty of other voices, false teachers, trying to catch our attention these days. And they're all claiming to offer us happiness. But do not be deceived, for Jesus is our one true master and teacher. And He invites us to take time to listen to His voice, to sit at His feet and let Him teach us His ways. On our own, we do not know how to live, how to love, how to come into union with God. But He does. And so He tells us, "Learn from me." At times, we grow burdened because we feel that all our efforts and struggles are bearing no fruit. But we need only to recall in our hearts the precious invitation of Jesus reflected in the gospel today. "Come to me, take my yoke, learn from me." When we turn to Jesus, we shall truly find our rest. Amen.